Why are we sending money? My opinion is we should not be sending a dime to Ukraine. What is the justification for that? It is a deeply, deeply corrupt government that has been elevated by most of the hard left in this country as another America. They present it as if it's this great democratic republic. It is not. It is not. And if the new mantra here is that we need to intervene every time Putin does something, or every time, to what end? So I'm just trying to figure out the long-term strategy of that. Is that we get involved and send financial and otherwise assistance to every country when this happens? Why is Ukraine different? Isn't it interesting to everybody that the entire American media jumped on board with this talking point from the get-go? The entire American media on the left, who is largely non-interventionist at their core, why are they suddenly so passionate about us sending a ton of money to Ukraine? And why has Zelensky become this? I mean, you see him as if he's like the second coming of Christ. Yeah. So I find that highly suspicious in a government that's deeply, deeply corrupt. Again, this is not America number two, and by a lot of people who, generally speaking, are very much, well, stay out of it unless they come at us. It's none of our business. Stay out of it. That suddenly have this heavily interventionist approach. I find it all highly suspicious. I don't think we should be involved there at all.
You bring up some very valid points right there. And if it was just the U.S. that was basically funding this operation, I would have legitimate questions as to what's going on. But when the entire EU and a NATO who's on that side of the world is basically saying, yeah, we're on Team Ukraine, yeah, that kind of makes a little bit more sense to me. So if it was just the United States, I clearly hear you on that. But I don't know, something about
what is the strategic interest for us, though, in getting involved in Ukraine in particular? And is there going to be a strategic interest in getting involved in Finland, in every area that Putin decides to or not to touch? What is the strategic American interest in doing that?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that you should ask Anthony Blinken. But
I don't need to ask Anthony Blinken because it doesn't exist.
So you're basically, so the question I have is, you're just okay with strongmen basically recreating borders?
No, listen.
That's a legitimate question, though, Jed.
No, I mean, do I love Putin? No. Am I a Putin fan? Do I wear a Putin shirt? No, I don't. But there has to be a reason for involvement. If you're going to send, first of all, this country is broke. We are broke. The people of this country are broke. There is no justification for sending money out unless there's a strategic interest for the United States. You know, this whole America first, people are struggling here. They can't even put food on their table. The gas prices, this, that. Everybody wants to complain about that. And then it's like, oh, let's send more money. If we are going to send our money out and we are going to poke the bear over there, which we are doing, and we are going to invite a higher level of risk assessment for people in the United States with every move we make, then there damn well better be a strategic interest that can be delineated, that's clear, and a long-term plan. I don't see either of those things, and I see a deeply corrupt government that we're rushing to defend with no justification. So my 100% vote is stay out of it. That doesn't mean I endorse Putin. That means that not every instance will warrant United States intervention and justify that. And in this case, it does not.
I'm totally okay with being non-interventionalist, 100%.
But sending them money is being
Yeah, but it's a different thing. This is a proxy war. This isn't fucking Vietnam. This isn't the disaster that happened in Iraq and Afghanistan. If anything, we've learned our lesson that we can't send our troops into these countries to try to make a difference.
Why are we sending our money?
Well, because that's basically what we have, the resources that we can do. Of course we do.
We don't have it. We just talked about the debt. We don't have it. We don't have that money to spend. That's extra. We don't have that money. We could easily, Tyler brings up the border. Everybody wants to laugh about that, but we could easily take that money and put it toward defending our own borders, where we have a flood of dangerous drug cartels that are coming across the Texas border every day. Nobody seems to care about. Take that money that we're sending over to Ukraine and actually do something to protect our own border from this influx of horror that's affecting, a human trafficking surge, that's a disaster. We have plenty of things that money needs to go to, that it's currently being sent to Ukraine where there is no strategic interest. So I think it's no-brainer. And I think there is something deeply corrupt going on at the high government level that is then filtering out to media that is encouraging this. And it's very dangerous. Pat just mentioned that article about U.S., this one is from Reuters, where U.S. warns Putin of catastrophic consequences if nuclear weapon used in Ukraine, and U.S. would respond decisively to any Russian use. What does that mean, respond decisively? You're going to enter a war with Russia now over Ukraine? This is utterly insane. We are now in insane turf. And it's wackadoo.
Well, and Adam, my point with Crimea, only 6 people died. So they estimate 80,000 Russians have been killed in this conflict. How many do you think would have died if the United States wasn't sending weapons, money, ammunition, funding, arming the Ukrainian army?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want to know a larger strategy the United States probably has is they would love to see Putin out of office. And if you're seeing what's happening right now in Russia and that he just called up
that's the problem.
300,000 reservists, people are protesting. Okay, so you have a strong man in Russia. They don't even have, it's not even oligarchy. It's a freaking thugocracy, okay? It's him and his thugs basically just siphoning off money for themselves and just doing what they want in the country. And I think at the end of the day, United States, this is not something that we stand for. Now, we can kind of go about different ways of basically dealing with him and who's right and who's wrong. But if in terms of values and principles of what we stand for in America, Russia and Putin is not it. So,
neither is what's going on under Zelensky in Ukraine, though. That's the thing. It's been glorified. It's been twisted and distorted.
And you're
by
not wrong
media.
about that.
We don't stand for that either. So why we don't stand for any of it. So stay out of it. And this government stays out plenty. Remember the Iranian revolutions during the Obama years? We stayed out of that. Why? People were saying, that they're in the streets. They're talking about freedom. They're talking about freedom. They need help. They need help. And they were like, no. Let's not even get involved in there. So this is something deeply corrupt and political.
Because if we were going to get involved, that's internal. Was there a proxy war that we could have fought in Iran?
But
there's nobody to fund.
But
how are we going to fund people?
Right, but there was not even a talk of that. Was there a call for that by the hard left in this country that's now putting Zelensky on posters outside of our? It's like you got to have, on Twitter, it's like you've got your gender pronouns and then you've got your Ukrainian flag and you've got a big picture of Zelensky. Why? That tells you there's something deeply disturbing going on here. If you can't outline the strategic interests for the United States and it's just, Putin is bad. Putin is bad. What's going on in Ukraine under a deeply corrupt government is bad. It's none of our business.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.